Are you a pet entrepreneur and or pet marketing professional? Do you want a place where you can gain innovative marketing strategies, receive actionable advice, keep up with the latest trends, and thrive in today's market? Welcome to the Pet Marketing Mastermind. All guests are proven and successful marketers in the pet industry.
Hello, audience. Please welcome Kristopher Lawrence, Director of Sales for Bark Naturals, a newly launched brand that manufactures all-natural pet odor eliminator candles and fragrances in Fort Lauderdale. Welcome, Kristopher.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, thank you all for joining the Pet Marketing Mastermind. My name is Joe Myers, your host. I'm excited to jump into this conversation with Kristopher to talk about Bark Naturals and his background as well. Welcome, Kristopher. Can you start off just kind of tell the audience about Bark Naturals and what makes your brand stand out in this pet industry?
Happy to do that, and thank you for having me today. The difference is that Bark Naturals, hence the name, truly is all natural. So there is a lot of pet odor eliminating products on the market, and most of them just mask the scent by high fragrance load. We actually have some odor eliminating technology, if I can use that word, that actually is active enzymes in the product that attaches to the quote unquote stink molecules and actually dissipates them and breaks them apart. So that way they're not so pungent in the house. That combined with the nice fragrances that we have that are also all natural is kind of the 1-2 punch that makes this so effective. We know, because I'm a pet owner and lover, I have 2 huskies, they are my kids, my life, and we know that certain fragrances are not only kind of bad for dogs, but highly toxic to dogs. So we've taken a lot of time and consideration in products that we use and any fragrances that we use to make sure that we test it to know that it's not just going to not bother the dog too much, but it's actually not going to hurt the dog. Also, our candles, I do not encourage it, but the dog could eat the candle. It wouldn't kill the dog. They'd have an upset tummy. They might be a little sick for a day or two, but it's not going to kill them. So everything that we have is really focused on being as all natural as we can get it. I kind of say that we're getting in front of the Make America Healthy Again movement through our products. It's really, really important. People don't want toxins in their house, and people are very, very particular about their pets and really want to care for them. We've gone the extra step to make sure that everything that we have is truly natural. So that's what we're focused on and really happy to have.
I love that. I love the stink molecules. It feels like I can see it. I'm a visual person, so I
Yes.
saw them. I saw them in the air as like next time I see my dog from a wet bath or getting stinky outside, I'm gonna picture those stink molecules. And you're absolutely correct. I think people need to have that all natural approach on like the rest of their life and then extending into their dog as well. And I love that you guys go above and beyond. And it's not just like, okay, it's non-toxic, but like full, like don't do it. But if they do, the dog would be fine in that regard. And it's such, it's such a trend that people are just embracing more and more, getting away from the chemicals, all natural. And I love companies, been in the industry for 7 years now. And I love companies that are not just like, we don't want to do this for the label. We go above and beyond what the label says.
Yeah, and we think it's less of a trend and more of a lifestyle. It's in everything that we're doing. We also manufacture other candles and fragrances, and this is sweeping across our entire company for everything we're making moving forward. People don't want unnatural dyes or colors. If they get a candle that's bright blue, they know bright blue doesn't occur naturally in nature. So if we get these crazy colors, but we have blueberry extract that we can use to color candles that color, or we have carrot extract, or we can use other things where from nature we can still put color in there, but the color is not the most important part. Doing what we say, being truly natural and safe is just the most important thing to us. And we have some creative chemists on staff that this is what they live for. And I love it when I drop a new project on their desk and said, hey, here's what we have. Now make it all natural, and they get to nerd out over there and bring me back something I didn't even know they could do.
That is absolutely amazing. And I love that it goes through all things. It's who the company is. You go beyond the label, because I think those labels can be very deceiving at times. You look in there and you're going the ingredients list and you're like, I don't think you're right. But I mean, you're getting close. So it's awesome to see that it's in the DNA of your company.
It is. My father people used to say, well, so-and-so is all natural, so it can't be bad for you. And his famous line was, well, snake venom's all natural, doesn't mean it's good for you. So we really focus on the things that are not just all natural, but they're harmless. They're not going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important.
Amazing. I love that. I love that phrase. I will next time I'm in the store, I'll be like, honey, snake venom, all natural. Wouldn't eat it though. Wouldn't consume it.
Wouldn't want it in my body, no.
Awesome. And not to get into go too far back here, but you've been in sales and brand growth for a while in your career. What was your first big sales marketing role, whether in the pet industry or another field? Where do you come from? What's your background?
So believe it or not, this is my first full year not being door to door. I've been a door to door salesman for 24 years. This is my 25th year in sales. And if it's legal, I've sold it on the doors, starting with vacuum cleaners at 16 years old. My most recent role before this was commercial and residential solar. So my approach has always been the same, regardless what job. And half the jobs I got hired for, it was not a door-to-door role. Even working at AT&T Wireless back in the day, when they went from AT&T to Singular back to AT&T, I didn't just stand in the store and wait for customers to come in. I made business cards and flyers, and I went out in the town. I put them on people's windshields. I put them in their doors. I put them next to their mailbox. Can't put it in their mailbox. I would hand it out to people at the grocery store. I'd go to the mall. And I just have that approach that I have a hard time sitting back waiting for things to happen. There's people out there. I'm going to go find them. And then I have a team here that can handle anybody that comes in the door. But I just have an approach that's just, I got to go get it. I got to chase whatever's out there. There's people, there's a customer base, and they need to know who we are, and I'll make that happen.
Amazing. From a sales perspective, what was the most unique product you sold door to door? I did a little bit in my youth as well. I kind of grinded on the pavement. Did you have any unique products, like a cleaning product or a unique product that maybe had a short shelf life, or one that like you stopped doing the door to door?
The most unique one, it was just pizza coupons. You'd sell them this coupon book of all these different pizza places, and the book was like $50, but there was like $500 worth of coupons in there. But that was very fast paced. It was a short-lived thing. It was a bunch of kids loading up in a van, go hit the streets and come back and stay at a hotel and drink away the money you made that day. And it just wasn't really my jam.
Fair. Okay. Gotcha. The pizza coupons. Yeah. We did a lot of that.
The hardest sales for door to door is the solar. And that is just because the industry has a horrible name because of the people delivering the message. If I'm not selling solar today, but if people presented solar the right way, 99% of the homes in America that own their house would go solar. As long as the person at the door just presented it the right way, it's fantastic. You replace the electric company with your own power that you eventually own and don't pay for anymore. That's the whole solar message. That's it.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. It has been twisted a little bit there. Yeah. We've gotten some salesmen that gave us twisted it to us. We can talk offline about the solar guy I got. Yep. Came to my door and sold me sold me almost nothing. I think I didn't buy it, but it was close. I dodged the bullet there. So you're certainly, the pet space and odor eliminating space is, there's some competition there. We don't need to name them, but there's some big players in there. There's some long-lasting players. What is your biggest challenge that you're experiencing as a brand in getting your product into the hands and obviously homes of pet owners?
Without mentioning names, I guess we can use shoes, for example. So Nike was the name forever and ever and ever, and then out of nowhere, Under Armour showed up. Now Under Armour is a big name, but it took a minute for people to realize, wow, there's another option. They're just so used to the zillions of dollars of marketing and ad spend that these big, huge companies can throw at it. But all the Under Armour did is they went to the athletes and to the events and just started giving away their shoes. Here, just have these, just take these, just put them on your feet. And through doing that, they grew their audience organically. So I think that's very similar to how we're approaching it. If you're going to try to compete with a new brand, now the company's been around for 25 years manufacturing at high capacity, but with a new brand like this, you're just not going to compete with their ad spend, especially over a tenure of 10 or 12 or 15 years. So you have to have a new approach of how do I get this in front of the person? So with a little car sales background as well, I'm a big believer that the feel of the wheel seals the deal. So if I can get the product and I can get it into their hands, I can let them smell the candle. I can light it in the room, spray some stinky stuff, and they'll say, wow, I don't even smell that. That whole getting it in their hands is really, really critical. So I just know where we can compete and where we shouldn't be trying to compete today. And we focus on what we're good at and what what we can really make a difference in and get that impact out there versus just throwing money at advertising and commercials. You're just another blip in the radar if you're doing that. So
I love that philosophy, especially with pet products, especially with something that has this big, heavy claim of eliminating.
yes.
And be in the room and to experience that. I think we've all had that moments where you see an ad and it says it does something really cool, and you get in the room and you're like what? The ad said it worked. But you're absolutely correct. Like the actual feel of that. And I think with with content creators that have like some authenticity and them experiencing it and then transferring that to their audience or feeling that in the room, that is definitely the way to do it. I love that the feel of the wheel seals the deal. That's again, I'm writing all these down. These are in my notebook now.
Awesome. On that note, even maybe to answer a question before you ask, but we're going to go to the Global Pet Expo in Orlando next month. We're going to go as a non-exhibiting vendor, but I have 500 gift sets in my car that I'm taking to the event with me, because anybody that I meet or contact, I'm giving them a gift set. I don't need you just to go to my website and look at another product that looks like the other one. I need you to smell this. I need you to take it with you, put it in your hotel room, put it in your car. We've got a little scent diffuser for your car even. So I want them to take it with them when they leave and be smelling it before they leave the event. So it's really in everything that we do that's our approach.
Excellent. I'll be there as well. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
I'm excited to see that. I see the guerrilla approach, and I think there's been products in the space that didn't have, weren't from the big guys, but because of the value in the market, they're just like, yeah, this is just what we use. And then, well, obviously that's just what I use, and that's just what I use, and that's just what I use. And the word of mouth and then developing this relationship with your audience,
yes.
I think it holds true in a lot of industries, but I think of the pet industry as well, because it's like, this just works, and I can't smell this because I don't want to, and this just works. And
correct.
It doesn't matter how many ads you see of the other guy, this just works.
I never overlook the value of word of mouth and your network. It has been absolutely crucial to my whole career, but especially in this space. If you can get it in somebody's hands and then they tell their friends, wow, you guys should do this. They've done all the work for you, especially with social media, people with 100,000, 200,000, 1 million followers. If you get it in their hands and they say, wow, this is wonderful, they've done the work for you because the people already like, follow, and trust them. Well, they're just going to take their word for it, so they don't have to do any homework. They said it's good. They haven't lied to me yet, so I'm trying that.
Exactly, 100%. And then what actually matters when it gets in the room, they know that they have to stand behind that as well. So you're kind of you're marching with them on that. Speaking of marketing, can you share a marketing strategy or maybe a sales campaign that you've been a part of in your career? It could be from Bark Naturals or from the past. Maybe it was a door-to-door thing and you positioned it in a different way than before, or maybe it was when this Bark Naturals was handed to you and you said, hey, we're going to do it this way. Past success.
Gladly, and I have one. So in my door-to-door approach, and it didn't really matter what I was selling on the doors, I quickly realized that I can either go door to door to door to get to every single homeowner, or I can go to the HOA, to the clubhouse, have the clubhouse advertise it for me, and have all the homeowners come in one shot. So now I'm presenting to 100 people at once that cost me a lunch instead of me going to every single door. Also, that built a lot of credibility. The HOA cleared me. They said it's good to go. So we know it's not some scam artist coming to the door. So they would do the advertising for me, and then I'm presenting to 100 people at one time.
I love that. Yeah, you're kind of getting them in the room. They're walking to you. They've kind of bought in as well. They kind of know what the nature of the conversation is going to be about. They had those conversations with the husband and wife on the way over. Well, we are looking into whatever that would be versus I think we've all had that experience. Is like you open your door and you're like, okay, so
what do you want?
What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm crazy because when people knock on the door, I get excited and I'm like, what do you got? I want to hear about it. Tell me your pitch, your spiel. I got this. What do you got? And she's like, babe, come on. But I support them. I encourage them. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think my wife's the exact same way. She's like, there's a guy at the door. I'm like, I got it. And I'm like, I did coach some kid once, came to my door and they were talking about it. I was like, nope, not with your story. What about my story? How's this value me? I'm trying to earn a trip to, I'm like, I don't really care what you're trying to earn. What's the value? What's the benefit? What are we doing?
Yeah,
it's the same
before
way,
I've told them the same thing when I open the door and they give me their pitch and it's terrible. I'll say, okay, do this, 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 and this. I'll close the door and then knock again, and I answer it again, and then they repitch me. I'm like, see how much better that was? I'm still not buying it, but you learned something today.
Exactly. I know. I don't know if our neighborhood people avoid us or they come to us as like the first house. They're like, okay,
Right.
go to that house, see if the pitch is good, see if he shuts the door on you and opens it up again. So speaking of pitching, what is the primary goal? Obviously, you can't get your product in the hands of everybody that wants to see it. What is the primary goal when a pet parent sees a Bark Naturals campaign? This could be an ad. This could be your website. This could be an email from you. What's that like primary goal? Is it, brand awareness? You want them to try it? You want them to get on a subscription model? And then how do you measure success? So what's that main goal you want? And then what are you doing to measure success?
I think that through getting the product in their hands, even if it's a gift, even if it's a sample size, that's the primary focus. Through that's going to generate brand awareness, because they're going to see it and say, wow, this really is different. Babe, what is that thing over there? That's incredible. I don't smell the dog anymore. So getting it in their hands generates the brand awareness, and success to me looks like referrals and more orders. So if they order more than once, a subscription model, it's in the cards, but right now I just want people to experience it. I just want them to have this in their house so they can see that this genuinely is different. It is natural. They can read the box. There's no hidden ingredients on there. It says plant-based wax right on the front of the box. So getting it in their hands, and then they can buy some more, buy one for a friend, say, hey, you've got to try this out. That's how you get the brand awareness. And then reorders, when they just order again, and then they say, hey, I want this every month. And then the subscription model or new products are released. Hey, I got to know what that is. So
I love that. Yeah. I think it's so important to get that referral of like that recommendation.
yes.
Depending on who it's from, it holds a lot of weight and a ton of value in the industry. But then, it's like, what is that? And it's almost like they become accustomed to it after
Correct.
a little bit. And I think even with something so visceral as smell and odor, and you walk into that wet room with your dogs or their kennel or the backseat of your car, and you just kind of smell that. And that once that starts going away, you're like, nope, that whatever that is, that order it, order again, order again, and tell 3 people about it as well. So I love that value proposition of like referrals and in the hand.
Yes, our motto is live in harmony with your stinky loved ones.
I like it.
Whether that's dogs or not, that's up to you to decide who they are. But
that's fair. Yeah, I mean, we all have emerging stinking loved ones on this side as well. Yeah, my dog. It was wet today, rainy where I'm at.
Yep.
My dog came in, and I was like, okay, we got to get something for this. We got to figure this out because you. Awesome. Shifting gears just a little bit from stinky loved ones to marketing landscape. In the pet space, in marketing in general, it's evolving and changing. I'm a marketing professional myself, and I feel like every week something new's emerging, and a new feature and a new benefit and a new tool to use. How do you stay ahead of those trends, or how are you kind of finding the most effective marketing tools for Bark Naturals?
I think that we're not afraid to do something different, and I completely understand the value of social media and people's networks. So there is a lot of, not just the pet influencers, I think those are great, but we're a brand with a cause. I rescued one of my dogs from a rescue, and so a portion of every candle we sell goes to support a rescue. So what I've done is I've reached out to the rescue directly and said, hey, we want to partner with you to make a real difference. So I've even done the math. How much does it cost to feed your whole shelter for a month? Okay, that tells me how many we need to have sold to feed your shelter for a month. So we'll run a marketing campaign and advertise. We need to sell 2,000 candles this month to feed the whole shelter. Who's on board? And you create a team collaborative where, man, I want to be part of that. Not just help us sell a candle, we donate a piece of it to the rescue. No, it's an actual attainable goal. We can see the finish line. It motivates people more. The rescue then puts it on their profile, on their platform, on their Shopify, because they know they get a piece of it as well. So working together with people like that, they've got an audience that supports the rescue. We're going to help support the rescue. So they're advertising it for us to help support the rescue. So it's been really, really effective, more so than just the pet influencers, people that are pretty, that take a nice picture with a dog. That's great. But we're trying to make some real impact and some real change here.
That is absolutely fantastic. I had a rescue dog myself, but I love the connection there of making it tangible. Because I do agree, like we give back, and it's kind of in the ethosphere of the world, and we give back how much, when does that happen? But like this month, we're going to feed the dogs at this rescue on this day.
Yes.
And you can full circle the story and say we're halfway there, and we're there, and take the photos when it arrives, and the food, and obviously
we're going to video all of it and broadcast all of it when we're feeding the dog, saying you guys did this. This is what the team and the community does. We're going to make sure it's not, we just said we did it. No, we're going to show you guys we're doing it, and thank you for it. Have the owner of the rescue say, hey, thank you to everyone. That's what builds the credibility, when you actually do what you say.
100%. Yeah. And you can see it, and it's tangible. And then the next one is like 2 and 3 and 4 and 6 and 10, and like you can build that, and now you have this community of people that are like, oh yeah, and I try it, and I'm gonna give it to a friend, and then they're gonna try it, and then again, like, I think it goes back to what you talked about before of like, in the hands of like, this product works, and what are the cool tangible way. And obviously the connection rescues and your personal heart, but then also like, you know, we all know rescue stories, and no one needs to cry on the podcast, but like that's a difficult place, and these dogs need a new home and a new lease on life, and they might come in a very disheveled place. I know our dog came from something, and I can only imagine his story, but having this new lease is important.
It's amazing what you can do as a collective. It's amazing.
Very much so. Absolutely. Shifting gears again, a little more towards the marketing side. AI, it's a big conversation point. It's transforming content marketing, videos, chat bots. What are your thoughts on brands using AI for marketing, and how, if any, are you currently leveraging it?
I think if you don't use it, you're missing the ball. I think if you're not in front of it, not trying to play catch up all the time, you're missing the mark entirely. This is a different world than we lived in 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It's a different world. It's a different landscape. So I think that a human touch is really important at the right times. But AI can do so much of the back work for you. If I showed you my inbox and my outgoing messages through LinkedIn, through my email, through text messages, if I had to do all of that by myself, there's not enough hours in the day to reach the people I'm trying to reach. So we definitely leverage that. We've got some chat bots. I have auto responders in my emails that respond as if it's me, exactly answering the questions the right way, knowing to defer to me if there's ever a question it's not sure of the question, it defers it back to me. So you can really set it up however you want to make sure that even though an AI assistant's writing it, it's still your exact words. They know your language, how you would answer the question, how quickly you would answer it. So it's really you saying it, but you just have an assistant leveraging that technology that's doing it for you. So if you're not using it, you are missing out entirely. Don't be afraid of it. Learn it, embrace it. There's enough videos online. There's seminars at the colleges. They'll show you how to do this.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is something you have to leverage that, and amplifies your time, amplifies your energy. And I think it also allows for you to be more focused at that time. Because like when we're creating stuff, it's like, what would you say as a brand? Oh, I don't know. What would we say? And then we finalize that and firm that up. And it's like, you can be focused on this one piece of content, and then you can move on to the next. But then while that's creating in the background, all this other stuff is happening, kind of keeping the plate spinning. And then when you're laser focused in on one thing, you can focus on that. Absolutely. I like that approach where it's like, this is me. This is the brand speak. AI is really good at learning the parameters of your brand. It's like,
as long as your input is good, your output will be great.
Exactly. Yeah. It definitely does test that. And figuring that out, and there's a whole bunch, I've done a bunch of AI lessons and learnings and stuff on how it like figures out, okay, what would this brand say? Okay, I'm not going to say anything other than that.
Exactly.
And it's impressive. So yeah, as long as you have good inputs, and you understand your brand, I think it also pressures people too. Like, wait, I want to have it write a whole article about my brand in my brand tone of voice. Do you know your brand tone of voice? Like it makes you think about that a little more.
Also with the AI, it also, the biggest thing that it's helped us with, I think, is that The response time is incredible. And no matter when somebody decides to message you, the AI responds immediately. So I'm not saying I have it just so it works while I'm sleeping. I don't do that a whole lot, but the response time is unbelievable, and there's no way you could keep up with it. So somebody's at home 11 o'clock at night, had a rum and Coke, and they're like, wow, I want to check this out. You better respond to them now. Strike while the iron's hot. You know you're going to miss out on that. Even just acknowledging that they sent a message, and we'll follow up with you in the morning. You don't have to answer every question, sell them something right now. Just acknowledging them, telling them when we're going to reach out, when's a good time to call, scheduling a video call, and in person. It can do all that for you. So it's been really helpful.
Yeah, the right person, the right time, and the right message. And so
Yes,
AI
exactly.
does that with precision. You know, you're not going to answer that at 11:30 with that message, but you can set that up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for it to set up. So I love that technology. So other than AI, what trend or tool are you most excited about in the future? If we're talking in 6 months or a year, what was that one thing that you're excited about that you've seen or emerged, or a trend or a marketing tool that you'll be utilizing?
The marketing tool that I think I'm most excited for is the platform Range Me. So if you're familiar with Range Me, and then they're connected with ECRM. So for example, in April, I'm going to Chicago, and I'm going to meet with 60 to 70 buyers of all the major retailers in America. And I'm going to have a captive audience with all of them over the course of 3 days of 10 minutes apiece to show them your brand. And you can either do private label, branded, what have you. So I have a captive audience with the buyers who anybody in sales knows they're the ones with the keys to the castle. That they're going to be face-to-face for 10 minutes a piece, and then you can set appointments to meet with them later and ink a deal. But you can actually get a face-to-face and show them your product, show them what you're capable of. They can white label it with their own name. You can sell them your brand as it is. That's been huge. I found it's not really a cheat code because people know about it, but I don't think that many people know about it because not that many attend. And to have that captive audience with those people it's an absolute gold mine for me. So
yeah, and I think this is door-to-door salesman at the retail level. I mean, you're shooting a fish in a barrel. I'm excited to hear what happens there. I think a lot of the people in those situations either think it's too good to be true because they're like, there's no way, and also I'm not that good at sales, so why would I get shot down 60 times? So I think
you gotta have some faith in yourself, though. Sometimes you just got to put yourself out there, have faith in yourself, do your homework. And if they think they're not good at sales, I will tell you something that has been absolutely crucial to my career is I've been a student of sales since I started. I have been through the Tom Hopkins School of Sales Mastery 7 times. I've read every sales book, listened to every seminar. I still follow it. I listen to the good podcast, the bad podcast, the little clips, the reels, the shorts. I watch it consistently because I want to be a master at my craft. And the only way to do that is be a student. So I've been selling for 25 years and I'm still learning stuff, and it excites me. I want to be the best at what I do.
I absolutely love that. So I wish you all the best there. I'm excited to hear the outcome of that. That'll be fantastic. 2 more questions here. For pet entrepreneurs and executives listening, what is your top piece of advice for marketing a newer pet brand? I know that the brand itself, that has that legacy and history, but what is that number one piece of advice? You're sitting in the elevator and someone's asking you, maybe getting prepped for global, what's that one piece of advice you would have for a new entrepreneur?
Be marketably different. You've got to find something that sets yourself apart, or else you will end up, and no shade cast at all to this store, but Macy's has a department called Backstage. That's where products go to die. That's where they're $5 discounted from $60. Once you are back there, you don't come out of there. So make sure that your product is actually different. Take the time to set it apart. Our technology that we have in our candles, it is actually technology. It's not just a different fragrance that covers it more. Have a cause, have a reason for them to want to listen to what you have to say versus, oh, you're just another product among many. You got to have something that makes you marketably different.
I love that. Yeah, I think people, when they're thinking of brands, they like put them in buckets. And a lot of the time, those new brands get into this one big giant bucket. And they very rarely emerge from that bucket because they're like, they're the same thing. And then all that happens emerges is like availability and price. And I think that is a sinking ship.
Absolutely.
if you go to Amazon and if you go to, there's a site called Camel. If you want to see how prices drop, you can look up any price on there and you can see the history, and you'll just see this downward trend if all they're competing on is price, because they'll go $1 less and their competitor will go $1 less, and then their competitor, and then their competitor, and then there's a deal, and then there's a promo, and then by the time they end up at the bottom, they sizzle out and fade out and margin goes away, and then they're struggling, and then you're buying out bulk.
That's why my approach to this is that we are selling blankets. We're not selling blankets, we're selling warmth. Anybody can sell a blanket. We're selling warmth. So
Amazing.
if you can add that value and the warm fuzzy and the feeling of it, that's the difference. They can buy a blanket anywhere. They can't buy warmth anywhere. So it's just that difference.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's a brilliant approach. And then final question, where can people learn about Bark Naturals and certainly follow this incredible entrepreneurial journey?
So we are on Facebook, Instagram, and our Shopify is barknaturals.com.
Amazing. And then if there are any retailers looking to reach out to you guys, what's the best way for them to connect with you guys to get you on their shelves?
So I can provide my email address, and I'll give you my cell phone number. I'm easily accessible. I know it's a crazy thing to say, but anybody on this podcast is people that I want to be speaking with, even if it's ideas or coaching or training or people that are interested. So my phone number, you want me to give that now?
Let's do it.
My direct line is 561-897-7693. And then my email is Kristopher with a K, Kristopher at hsc-limited.com.
Amazing. Well, that is connectivity. That is availability to the fullest. I can't thank you enough, Kristopher, for being on the podcast. If you do reach out to Kristopher, please mention the Pet Marketing Mastermind so he knows where it's coming from, and we'll do a part 2 after Range Me. I would love to, maybe a one-on-one on how to sell 60 retailers at a time would be a fantastic follow-up to this one.
Thank you so much for having me.
Very welcome. Well, thank you guys so much. Make sure to subscribe. Share this podcast with a pet entrepreneur, a retailer that would love to add Bark Naturals to their product shelf, or to a friend that's thinking about starting a pet business. Thank you guys so much, and we'll talk to you in the next one.